Testing one. All right. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? So, Watchmen, right? That just premiered. That was pretty great. I'm a few minutes behind because the episode ran a little bit longer on my end, and had to get it all set up here. Um, really impressed with it. Let me just tweet out and post that I'm live. And so for those who have seen it, we can talk about it. I'm gonna do my little review here in a second. So then I have something a bit more smaller and compact in order to put up there to the people who aren't gonna be able to watch it live. Where's that? If I could actually type tonight, that'd be fantastic. Okay. There we go. And let me just post this on the Discord right quick. So there's that as well. Come on by and... Okay. There we go. That's up. That's good. We're here. We're great. We're grand. We're awesome. All right. What's up, Roman? What's up, Garrick? What's up, Giovanna? Okay, I'm all right. All good to go. So I want to kind of give it a minute or two for people who want to pop on in, who may or may just be wrapping it up. We can just talk for a few. Shidoko, what's cracking, man? Did you see the episode? Did you guys watch the episode? Because obviously there's going to be spoilers here. There kind of has to be spoilers here. If not, then I mean, the whole point is that there's spoilers here. So let me just make sure my audio is good. Okay, great. I have to start off by saying that the show absolutely subverted my expectations. I wasn't too sure what to think of it, to be honest with you. It was one of those things where, going into it, you're not too sure what to think. You look at all the Shidoko. It you don't know what? Okay, Watchmen is a graphic novel from the 1980s that was turned into a feature film 10 years ago by Zack Snyder. And this is the Watchmen television show that just premiered on HBO. And so you kind of have to have either you have to have read the graphic novel, or at least be somewhat fundamentally familiar with the graphic novel in order to discuss what happened. Yeah. So if you don't know what it is, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. And that is just that's unfortunate, because it's really good, and you should definitely give it a go. Okay, I'm just looking here to see. Wanted to quickly bring up the IMDb listing here, so I am up to date. Because a lot of people, you learn a lot about a lot of people in this, and so you're just trying to remember everyone's names. First time meeting them, they didn't really do a lot with that. That's kind of one of the downsides. I'll talk about that. So, okay. Let's see here. Is this a spoiler discussion, Luis? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's episode just premiered, just wrapped up. So there's going to be a fair amount of discussing it. If you have seen it, if not, that's okay. But be warned. Let's see here. Watchmen debuts and Naders hits Texas. What's Naders? I don't know what Naders is. I don't know what that is. Was that World of Warcraft thing? By Googling it, that's what it says. No, Lunith, there won't be any Hollywood After Dark happening tonight. Let's see here. You're never going to watch the show. It's a good show, man. It's actually really solid. If you've read the graphic novel, or at least have some knowledge of the movie, you can at least pick up. If you haven't read, if you've only seen the movie, a couple things aren't going to make any sense. But stylistically, tonally speaking, it's one of those weird shows that it's visually based upon a movie, but narratively based upon the comic or the graphic novel. Those issues of that. So it's weird to kind of talk about. You're not really into live action TV. You haven't even seen the movie. Oh, a tornado hit. That's not good. I know that was a tornado. Oh, naders. Oh, okay. I see now. I get it now. I don't. I live in the Pacific Northwest. We just have rain here, rain and snow. So I don't get a lot of naders where I'm at. So here's my question: has anyone here actually watched the show? That's my question. Has anyone here actually watched it? Let me actually. So, because I'm curious about that. If anyone here watched it, because if not, I'll just end up doing my review of it and probably call it a little bit early. We got Quakers and Cali. It's not a continuation from the movie. It's a continuation from the graphic novel. So that's the different thing to consider yet. So okay, well I appreciate that, W. So yeah, basically it's just it takes place like 30 years after the fact, 35 years or so after the fact, and after the graphic novel, or at least after the movie, and then it's kind of picking up and they're just kind of establishing the world. So it's yeah, there's a lot there, a lot of little details you got to pay attention to. I was really enjoying it. Giovanna, if you watch the movie, you'll get everything. So you'll basically get everything. Okay, so this is like a college class that no one read the exam for. Yeah, kind of, and that's fine. That's okay. That's okay. But so yeah, the episode. What was the episode called? It's hot and we're running out of ice. Is the name of the episode. That's the name of the pilot. Let me just bring up the episode count here. I got all the IMDb page up. I just want to make sure I have all the details. All right. Let's see here. Somebody already reviewed it on IMDb and gave it 1 star. And it's about as it's kind of a racist review. That's pretty interesting. Okay, where is the damn episode count? There we go. Okay, there we go. I just want to make sure I have that up. All right, good. So, David, yeah, it's definitely it's a good setup is what I liked about it. It's a really good setup. So, all right, been about 7.5 minutes. We've been live here. Roman, if it's worthy of your short attention span, I fundamentally enjoyed all of it. I have a relative short attention span as well. I thumb with my phone a little bit during the show. There was a couple scenes that I whatever, but at the same time, this is a show that is trying to rebuild you. You know, it's meant to kind of ease you back into that world while also setting up a whole bunch of new things while acting as its own kind of continuation of the graphic novel, which is going to either go real well or real bad with some fans. So there's that. Okay, so is Watchmen a weekly show or all episodes one sitting? James, it's actually a weekly show. They got 9 episodes that they're doing, and this was the first one, so they're going to be doing 9. And I think it's set as one individual story. So the individual story of it's going to end up being, I don't know why. I don't know what that is just yet. I don't know what it's going to be, but I mean, clearly they're setting up for a lot of references back to the graphic novel, especially if you've seen the trailer. You can already pick up on a couple of those things. Ew, weekly. What are you talking? Would I say that Watchmen has gone woke? No, not at all. Actually, I don't. Are the bad guys white supremacists? Yeah, they are. Does it tie into how the show starts? Absolutely, which I'll talk about once we get to that whole section of it. And but is it woke? What defines woke these days? Regina King is the lead, and she plays, again, they didn't really focus a lot on like the names. What is her name? Angela Abar is her name, and she's badass. I have to give a lot of credit to Regina King. I've been a fan of hers now for like well over 25 years. And so I'm very happy to see that she is leading the show, because she brings a lot of attention. She brings an intensity to it, which I really like. But it's not just that. It's like Don Johnson, Tim Blake Nelson was really good. Who was the other guy there? Let's see. Yeha Abdul Mateen II, who played Black Mantis in Aquaman. He's Angela's husband. And we don't get much with him, but like I like him anyway, so. I just don't see how you can call a show woke because it has like, it deals with racism. Just saying, doesn't make any sense. To get woke, it would have to be like really cramming it down your face. They don't cram anything down your face. Although people are going to argue one particular scene might, but again, that's just a story point that's meant to show you some stuff there. So, let's see. If I thought The Last Jedi was bad, this is at least The Last Jedi times 5. Nah, not at all. The new Rorschach mask turned you off. Well, the new Rorschach mask is, it's not Rorschach mask. It's not his mask. His mask moved. These masks don't move. So basically, Watchmen has gone condescending, put others down based on race. Wait, hold on. Wait, what? What the fuck? Hold on. I gotta read it. Basically, has Watchmen gone condescending and put others down based on race, and are characters well developed and their physical character traits not the focal point? No, like not at all. Like that's okay. No. Do I have to pay $10 to get you to say if you are woke? No, I'm not woke for one. Let's see here. This is fucking terrible. We have to watch the Snyder movie to get the taste in my mouth. It's not. I don't understand. What about it was terrible to you? Is it the Snyder movie? No, but are people going to go into it expecting the Snyder movie? Yeah, because people have spent the last 10 years watching the Snyder movie. People out there have read the graphic novel 100%, but there's far more people who haven't read the graphic novel that have seen the movie than vice versa. So that's going to be a big factor involved in this one. So what's up, RT? How you doing? So yeah, it's definitely, I would have preferred it, I think, if they would have followed the continuity of the movie, only because the visual stylings from the movie is clearly apparent here. I mean, there's a shot where they show a reflection of the comedian, and it's clearly the comedian from the Snyder movie. Jeffrey, what's his name? Jeffrey, God damn it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That's right. So it's definitely like, and then even Silk Spectre looks like Carla man, I can't think of names right now. That's so bad. Carla, Gugino, right? It looks like Carla Gugino. So it is inspired by that, heavily inspired by that. So, have not watched it yet. It's on DVR. Yeah, it's good, man. It's really good. It's worth watching. Let's see here. You made your wife read the graphic novel before she saw the movie. She thanked you. Yeah, that's a good thing. You love the badge reference to the comedian at the end of the episode. I did. Yeah, that was, again, there's like so much there that is so reminiscent of the movie, right? That's so reminiscent of the movie that you're just kind of laughing your ass off. It's like, but maybe that must have been a stylistic choice. That must have just been one of those stylistic choices. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. So okay, I guess I'll go through my review. I was gonna like clip it out. What are we at there? Okay, 13 minutes, and just want to get prepped. So Damon Lindelof is back with Watchmen. This is a series that I can honestly say no one asked for. Right? No one asked for it. You can tell at this point that no one has asked for the show. The reviews on it from the critics have been good. Fans, at least in this live chat, have been kind of hit or miss. Some like it, some didn't like it, and that's perfectly fine. But it's very interesting to go back into that world and thinking of it being Zack Snyder's vision that they're basing it off of, and not Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' version, which is clearly what it's inspired by. So the story itself picks up. Actually, I should say this, it picks up like 30 years after the events of the first film. See, exactly. That's where I'm at, right? First film, the first issue, I guess, the graphic novel. It's hard to say. That's how conditioned we are now, I guess, with Marvel movies, to look at this as being a continuation of something along those lines. But it starts off in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in 1921, where you have the city being raided by the KKK, they're clearly the KKK. A young boy gets away. His parents are killed. He ends up having this note with him that says, "You will look over this boy," from his father, who appeared to be military, but we don't have any other information on him. And then, of course, we don't know what happens to him over the span of the next 98 years, because it picks up in 2019 Tulsa, Oklahoma, where a cop who is now masked, because there is a new law that says that all cops have to wear masks in order to protect their identity. But the caveat is that they cannot use weaponry unless they have proper permission from the police station in order to do so. So they can't just pull out their gun all willy-nilly. They have to actually get it released in order to be able to fire it, which I thought was an interesting take on society, right? I mean, obviously there are going to be some social politics that have been from our age, our era, our timeline, whatever, that are added in. Is it enough to say that the show has gone woke? No, it's just showing us a different take on history. I mean, even, Watchmen itself was a revisionist take on history, an alternative history. That's kind of the whole point, is like, it's going to play up certain things, and certain things are going to be more exaggerated than not. But ultimately, I thought that was kind of cool that these cops, they have the anonymity, but they still have to like request they have to put in a lot of requests in order to be able to get their firearms. Part of me was thinking like Judge Dredd, how it's just they have the gun with the different commands on it, but this time around is the exact opposite. So a cop is gunned down by a member of the 7th Cavalry, which is a white supremacist group that apparently had gone underground 3 years prior, but are now reemerging. We don't know what they're up to. Regina King plays Angela Abar, who is a cop. Again, she is like a detective, or she's just a vigilante. She's working on the force. No one knows who she is because it's illegal to tell anyone that you're a cop. If you work in the police force, no one can know who you are, and that doesn't include your family. And so she gets the notification that the cop went down, that they think it's the 7th Cavalry. She grabs one dude, basically a racist that she figured was already going to be a part of this group. They interrogate the hell out of him in the pod, which is, I'm still trying to figure out the pod. So that's Tim Blake Nelson's character, Looking Glass. And that he is cool. For one, I love Tim Blake Nelson. And I think he kind of brings this like Southern charm to it a little bit. Like, he's not necessarily a charming person, but he's just got that approach that I really like. And Looking Glass is a dude who wears the reflective hood. And he goes in this pod and he asks questions and they flash images. And that's how he's able to kind of determine whether or not the person is lying or telling the truth. And that's how they figure out that this guy is lying. And then Angela beats the crap out of him. And they discover that everyone from the 7th Cavalry is at a farmhouse, a cattle ranch or whatever. And so they decide to run out there in order to stop them. And these guys catch wind of it. And this is actually a really cool scene. I really, really liked it. So everyone's running up in this cow field and all the cows are out there and the cops are hiding behind the cows. The 7th Cavalry catch wind that the cops are there, run out and jump into a machine gun. They have a mounted machine gun on the back of this truck, and they just eviscerate like all the cows trying to take out the cops. And it's pretty violent. It's pretty bloody. They end up catching the guy who shot the cop, but he takes a cyanide pill. He kills himself. And they're trying to figure out what exactly everyone is doing, because they were out there just trying to collect watch batteries, old watch batteries, which apparently are no longer in production. So the idea there essentially is that what was surmised, what was hypothesized, was that they're trying to build like a cancer bomb, which is clearly a reference back to at least the Watchmen movie. So you've got that. Like there's little nods here and there. The chief of police ends up getting called out to go and meet with the cop who was shot, because he wasn't killed. He actually comes through. He gets surgery. He wakes up. And as he goes out there, somebody puts out spike strips, takes out his tire, and he ends up getting got. They find him, strung up on a tree, lynched on a tree. And next to him is Louis Gossett Jr., who is 105 years old, who is the boy from the beginning of the episode. And that's basically about it. I'm maybe going over a couple things there, but the episode was just setting up the world. It was just setting up what was going to happen. It was just setting up like the characters to the best of their abilities, while keeping your story moving relatively forward. So what I really liked about it was I thought the soundtrack was great. I thought the direction was really good. I thought the performances are really good. But a couple little things kind of are a little bit weird. One of them is Jeremy Irons is playing Adrian Veidt. Right, we saw that in the trailer. It's like, oh, he's playing Ozymandias. Okay, well, I wonder what Ozymandias is up to 30 years later. What kind of thing is he getting up to? Well, the thing with that though is I don't think he is alive. To be fair, I don't think he is realistically alive at this point, because they said you see a newspaper clipping that says Adrian Veidt officially declared dead. And then when they cut to him, he's at some weird castle somewhere. He's got two servants who kind of like idolize him and adore him. And then he's writing a play about a watchmaker. And he wants the two servants to be the ones to star in it. It's odd. And again, this is just Damon Lindelof from Lost. This is everything that we've learned from all that situation. How he tends to write these mysteries is what the hell in the first episode, but as it progresses, we're going to get more and more and more and more, obviously. What I thought was really funny, what cracked me up the most, though, was when we first meet Angela, she's at her kid's school doing, take a parent to work day or take a parent to school day and doing show and tell. And she's a cook. She's opening up a bakery. That's her cover. And there's a kid there who is, he asks her, oh, did you pay for your bakery with red for rations? Right, because they talked about reparations have happened. Robert Redford is president, and that's what the kid said, red for rations. And then her son, who I believe is adopted, went and beat the crap out of that kid, and that ended up getting him booted out of school. But what was funny was there was a poster on the wall that just said "Anatomy of a Squid." And I bust up laughing at the Anatomy of a Squid sign because I thought that was really funny. I thought that was really great how they were incorporating, the crazier element. I mean, of all the craziness that's in the graphic novel, the squid was the craziest thing. But what was really interesting was as they were driving home, there was a rainstorm, a flash rainstorm, and it just rained baby squids. Like I'm watching it and like you hear the alarm, like the air horn, the air siren going off, and they pull over and I'm like, people pull out umbrellas and I'm like, the hell? And you see clouds forming and I'm just sitting there going like, is it going to rain squids? And then it rains squids. No explanation, right? This world is meant to be like we've lived in it. So, obviously some things are going to happen that don't make a fair amount of sense. That is clearly one of them. That was the craziest thing. But what I thought was really cool was when they raided the farmhouse, the cattle ranch, there was Don Johnson and another vigilante, and they were in what I thought was a van. And it turns out they're in like a model version of the Archimedes Night Owl ship from the graphic novel in the movie. And it's not Archimedes. You see it in the trailer, it crashes, but like that was so cool. I legitimately went like, it's Archimedes. Like I was excited that that was happening. And then I'm like, oh, it's not Archimedes. You tricked me, sir. But I really enjoyed what they did with it. So that was pretty cool. Again, like I feel like the costumes were kind of in line. I mean, maybe like not film quality from Zack Snyder, but they were definitely good. I like the music. I like the direction. And I really want to see where the rest of the series goes because it's setting up a mystery and one that we just have to wait a week to find out more about. So whether or not, Don Johnson, if he's a member of the 7th Cavalry or not, I actually happen to think that he is. Because there was one shot when he was getting dressed and ready to leave where it passed by his mirror, and you see like a framed photo of him and somebody else when he was a boy, and it looked like it made you think that it's going to be something that he's got like white supremacist roots or something. But Don Johnson really brought it in the episode. Like you think, oh, he's a good guy, and then here he dies right at the very end. So. That is essentially the episode. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what happens next week. And of course, if you guys did see it, I totally want to hear your thoughts and your opinions and your theories. What's going to happen with this? Is it going to be a worthy successor to Watchmen, or is it just one of those cash grab TV shows that HBO put on because, quite frankly, it's got nothing else going for it now since Game of Thrones is over? Definitely let me know. All right. Baby squids from Mars? Oh, that's what. Okay. Yeah, no, baby squid stuff is Dr. Manhattan. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, Nick? Did you watch it? Yeah, if you watched it, dude, let me know. I was just recording that whole thing. So there was that one. All right, we're just gonna. Oops. Damn it! What the hell's going on? My computer's acting up for a second. So that was my full on thing for that. Okay. Do I think one of the reasons why they never make the connections between the movie and the TV series is because Warner Brothers poor relations with Snyder? No. I think Damon Lindelof just wanted to make it its own thing. I think he did. I think he wanted to make it its own thing and just kind of go from there. So there's that's a lot of what I think of it. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I'm just going back. All right, go a little bit further. Cool. Okay. Let's see here. Look, to me, it looks like it's using the Watchmen name to bring in viewers. You're a Watchmen fan, and the show doesn't feel like Watchmen. I mean, it's not there yet. I think because we don't have, it doesn't start off with the comedian dying. It doesn't start off with the comedian being murdered by Ozymandias. Now we have Ozymandias. He's old. I think he's dead. Well, maybe they should have called it Watchmen and then have like have like a surname to it or something. That would make a lot of sense. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So let me see here. It was raining squids, dude. It's crazy shit. And yeah, if you saw the trailer, Dr. Manhattan makes an appearance in it. Like you see it. So, all right. Let's see. Watchmen is amazing. Yeah. Okay. So Watchmen, the search for more money. Yeah, kind of. I mean, I was reading an interview with Damon Lindelof about that, and he had said that he had, he felt like he'd been offered this by HBO like 3 times before he said yes. And one of the things that he wanted to do, he had turned it down, and then he thought to himself like, oh, hey, if they run the episode, if they do everything, then or if someone else does it, he's gonna feel like he missed out. And I think, and I get that. So let me see here. Okay. Is it Crudup? It's I don't know if it's Crudup or not. If it's Crudup, that's crazy. Like I said, it did look like the comedian did look like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Let's see. Curious why they didn't adapt the prequel comic series that DC did a couple years ago. I would assume that if this does well, that's on the docket. I would assume that the Watchmen show, or the series that they did, the prequel comics, would probably be up for something on HBO Max. Or if they continue this going, this is meant to be like, see, this is a weird thing with the show. They said that it's 9 episodes, it's one whole complete story, and that's how they designed it. And so I kind of wonder if they're going to end up, if they're going to end up leaving it open for a sequel at the end. Let's see here. You think you might not like it because you always like the 80s Cold War superhero setting. Yeah, I mean, but the Cold War ended, so it's like what this is like the next phase of that. Like we're in a different world. The Cold War wouldn't really happen right now. We're just in a different world. We're in a different time. I mean, life, the world, society, people, humanity, it always evolves past that kind of stuff anyway. We never really go back to anything. It's always like a hyper evolved version of it, perhaps. So it's like, look at World War I. World War I was trench warfare and chemical warfare was a big part of it. And then World War II, which was not like, it was 15, 16 years later. And that was not trench warfare, but we, pulled out a lot crazier ass tanks, a lot more different kind of experimental weaponry coming out of the Germans, and then the Americans using, German refugee scientists, defector scientists, crafted atomic bombs. So it's like, think about the progression of that from 20 years, 20 some odd years, the progression of the weaponry that was used, never mind the reasons why the wars took place, why the conflict happened, like World War I, Archduke Ferdinand, bop, bop, right? World War II, a number of factors, predominantly to, stop Hitler. I mean, there was a lot of different things that were going on at the time between both conflicts. And so that's the situation. What was interesting, though, about this is they did basically, and I forgot to mention that when I was giving my review, but they did basically say that Vietnam is now a state, because they had mentioned like, when Angela was giving her presentation, she talked about growing up in Vietnam, and they had said, did you move there before it was a state? So what we know from the graphic novel and from the comic and from the movie of Dr. Manhattan going in there and just like taking out, they took over Vietnam, which is just really interesting if you think about it. It's really interesting. So okay. And yeah, Nick, I sent you a message. Let's see here. You would watch the whole episode of comedian Dr. Manhattan in Vietnam. I wonder if they're going to do that, because I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan would come back and give me what's it called? I would watch a Dr. Manhattan and comedian. That would just be a very interesting thing. Let's see. You think there's so much deterrence for the series might have to do with the current climate with political outlines in the trailer? I mean, look, okay. If the graphic novel was written in the 80s, which it was, and it was about the Cold War in the 80s, which was happening at the time, doesn't it seem to make sense that if they were going to do a sequel that they would also kind of set it parroting or at least running alongside what our society deemed, where our society is politically right now? That's something to consider as well. I think that the certain groups of people are sensitive in regards to how certain things are showcased or perceived. But I'm sorry, if the Seventh Cavalry is known white supremacists, I don't really care if white supremacists are mad that they're portrayed negatively on TV. I personally don't care. That's just how I personally see it. However, I do think that there is a lot that they could say in the show, but we've only gotten 50 minutes of it or 60 minutes of it. So what exactly are they going to try to tell us? Like what exactly are they trying to say? Right now, they're just establishing who is the good guys, who are the bad guys, the city it takes place in, and a little bit about the world as it goes along. And a lot of it has to do, quite frankly, with there being just the sheer amount of like storytelling aspects of it, right? There's the world building, and at least look, I have to give them kind of credit here when it comes to this particular type of program. At least we right now are getting a show that we understand, like the world. Sure, things have changed from what we previously knew, but we still generally understand the rules of the world. It's kind of like this again. A few of you may not agree with this analogy, but it's like Star Wars: The Force Awakens, right? That was easing us back into Star Wars, easing us back into a world post Return of the Jedi. What would happen 30 years after Return of the Jedi? Well, that's The Force Awakens. This is kind of the same thing, to be honest with you. So there's that. All right. Okay. So that's how I see it. Let's see here. So are white males bad in the show? The non-white males ain't. No, that's not. Look, Jesus fucking Christ. Are they showing white supremacists as bad? Yes. Do we see like any people of color being bad? No. But that's not indicative of anything. And to make the claim that that is something is definitely a dog whistle and not reflective of, I believe, the reality of the show. This is one of those things where it is clearly trying to set up good guys and bad guys. Let's see here. Does it feel like the same world of The Watchmen? Does it feel like New York got decimated? Well, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So how futuristic and how crazy is Tulsa going to be? So the answer to that is not yet. But I mean, obviously, it's going to not show us. I have a feeling they're going to go to New York. I have a feeling they're going to show us some stuff from New York. They in the coming soon port of the episode, they showed a few more things, a few more futuristic aspects of it, and I have a feeling that they're going to give us a bit more of the a bit more of that. But what I like was that they're still talking about like, they had like the American hero story, so they still have like the made for TV movie version of that, and they showed it like that's going to be something that's going to be ongoing throughout the series, very similar to the comic book that ran in the graphic novel. So there's a lot that they're clearly referencing from the original. I think it's gonna be pretty great. But as for what it feels like, I mean, are we talking about like, does it feel that way from the graphic novel, or does it feel that way from the movie? Like I said, tonally speaking, this is clearly the movie. Right. It's like the way it's designed, the art direction, not so much the cinematography, because I don't think HBO can afford Zack Snyder anymore. But when it comes to the tone and the feel, that's what they're going for there. So, all right. Looking for any more questions, any more comments on this one. I'm hoping that next week I can get some people on to come on with me. I just kind of like did it for fun. I was like, oh, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna do a stream after the fact. I'm gonna jump on and see if anyone. I wanted to watch it super early. So if that's that's just me. That's just totally me. But anyway, let me take a look here. All right. Anything else? If not, I can chit chat for a few more minutes. I guess wrap it up. Okay, you wonder how they're going. Okay, will Snyder ever come back to HBO? Well, Snyder, I mean, that was Warner Brothers, and the likelihood of it happening is probably pretty high. But right now he's with Netflix, and if that whole thing goes well with Army of the Dead, which they're shooting right now, which as a quick caveat or as a side note, I like the fact that Zack Snyder is not only directing the movie, he's also the cinematographer, and that to me is going to be crazy. Can't wait to see that one. And he might eventually come back. I would think it'd be, I don't know if he would ever come back to do this show. Like if they asked him, hey, do you want to come direct a couple episodes or something? I don't think he would do that, considering, like he caught a lot of crap from Watchmen fans for how they adapted the graphic novel 10 years ago. So there's that. You wonder how they will do Dr. Manhattan. I think they're just going to show Dr. Manhattan doing his thing, like I think they're going to show Dr. Manhattan coming back for some reason, whatever reason. And maybe it's possible that that's what Ozymandias is up to, right? Because they show a brief shot of Dr. Manhattan on Mars. I was with my 2-month-old, so I caught it briefly, and I might have missed what was said there, or what they showed there. So I'm gonna definitely rewatch the episode. But it's possible, and this is just again a theory, that he's building a machine, because they say that he's showing like he's building a machine, and he could be building a machine that could then summon back Dr. Manhattan. Right? Like something that would get his attention and that would bring him back from Mars, because he's talking about like the world ending again. He's talking about the world being decimated. Like he's got to save it again or something. And this could just be the ramblings of an old billionaire, of an old megalomaniac. Like I have no idea. Is this Hollywood After Dark or not? No, this is not Hollywood After Dark. This is just me having a conversation about Watchmen, not Hollywood After Dark. Let's see here. Why is Watchmen 07 getting flagged these days? You mean 09? It's always kind of gotten flack from people, right? The Watchmen is always the movie got a lot of crap from people because it was different. I personally feel that the ending of the movie was better than the ending in the comic. I just feel it was more natural. I understand the reasoning why Ozymandias, why he summoned the giant squid and why he did everything he did, in order to help unite the world. But then also kind of pinning it on Dr. Manhattan in the movie just felt like more of a Bond villain sort of thing. And I just felt it worked a bit better. So let's see. At the end of this, play Duel of the Fates and stare real into the camera the entire song. Don't say nothing. Maybe, because I don't want to get paid for this video anyway. Comic fans, at least in general. Well, I know a lot of fans of the graphic novel that weren't a huge fan of the movie. I saw the movie twice in IMAX in its opening week. Like, I fucking love that movie. Well, here's something funny. I've got DC Universe, right? And DC Universe was putting out like, oh, Watchmen, the movie is on DC Universe, you guys. Do you want to get prepped to watch Watchmen, the TV show on HBO? On a totally different yet similar network under the same parent company umbrella? Why don't you come over here to DC Universe and watch Watchmen and then go watch the TV show? So there's so much cross promotion I feel with that, that they probably should have just based the show off the movie, to be fair. I really feel that probably would have been a better aspect of it, probably. So, the sex scene in space was groundbreaking. They weren't in space. They were just flying. Let's see here. Class Ulysses says, what an amazing first episode, worth getting HBO. I mean, if you already have a subscription to HBO, then this is definitely good. But we're not quite there yet to where it's going to be like must see TV, must get a subscription like Game of Thrones was towards the end. I think it's a little bit different, but if you like the graphic novel and you really are curious about it, I think you're going to really enjoy it. But again, it's a lot of putting kind of like the biases aside and really just looking at this as being a separate entity. I don't know if you'd want to call it like fan fiction, right? Like, I mean, Dave Gibbons created a whole new character for the show. So, I mean, look, one of the co-creators, right? Clearly not the writer, the artist, right? And Alan Moore, according to Lindelof, cursed him to work on it. So I don't quite know yet exactly how that whole thing's going to play out with the rest of the show. But it does. I mean, it's kind of canonical. You know, if you think about it, if one of the original creators is coming on board, maybe not the one you want, but one of them, and he's giving it the go ahead, and he's working on it, and he's doing a lot of the visual stuff for costumes and everything, and he's creating a whole new character, wouldn't that then be canonical? But some people might view that kind of similar to, like, let's say, Alien Colonial Marines, which did show that Hicks was still alive from Aliens, and that was considered canon by 20th Century Fox. So that's something to consider as well. You know, like, it's just, I mean, people don't really know about it, so they don't know if it's canon or not, even though it is officially considered canon. Let's see. You're curious in an alternate timeline if Watchmen '09 went through went with the giant squid, it would be on par with Doomsday from BVS. No, because Doomsday from BVS didn't make a lot of sense for people who are like, wait, why are they doing Doomsday this way? Even though I enjoyed it, I can get why people didn't like it. If they were to do the giant squid, I think diehard comic fans would be like, they did it. I didn't think they had the balls to pull that one off, but they fucking did it. They totally showcased the giant squid. They did it. You know, and then I think the general audience would be like, what the fuck is a giant squid doing there? And then now they're kind of mentioning the squid. So people who are coming into the show only knowing the movie are still going to go, what the fuck is the giant squid? Why is it raining squids? I literally have like no idea why these things are happening. So does $3 recommend to a lover of Zack's not? Yeah, I would say if you're a fan of the movie, give it a shot. I think you're going to enjoy it. Who will win? Batman versus Owlman versus Night Owl? Batman on all fronts. I like Night Owl, but let's see here. That and Night Owl actually witnessing Rorschach's death. Wait, what do you mean by that? Like Cyborg Man? What do you mean by that one? I mean, I know what you're talking about, but like, I'm trying to think of like where I said something that would tie into the context on that. So if you fill me in, I can at least answer the question. But no, ultimately, looking at the show, I was apprehensive, like I said, and I feel like they really tried to kind of navigate between the two, and ultimately it worked. I had a lot of fun with it. You know, my girlfriend, I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. I'm like, oh, I'll go watch it in my office so I can then do my live stream. And my girlfriend's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. Just play it. It's cool. And then it starts off with the KKK raiding a town and killing people. And she's like, oh, no. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's Watchmen, baby. Oh, yeah. Movie changes at the comic that were actually good. Yeah, the movie changed quite a bit. David Hayter did a really good job on that script. And doesn't get a lot of love for the work they put into it. I think Snyder did a great job directing it. But I think that David Hayter did a really good job writing it, and that doesn't get enough play. So, all right. Where are we at with all this stuff? Okay. I'm looking through. All right. Well. Okay. Have I read Doomsday Clock? I have not read Doomsday Clock. I intended to when it first happened, but unfortunately I never got around to it. I think that's, I hear it's good. I've heard good things about it. So Solid Snake wrote the draft. Yeah, Solid Snake, the voice actor for Solid Snake wrote the script for what's it called? For Watchmen, for the movie. That's kind of funny. It makes me really wonder, like, this is going to kind of be a weird off topic thing, but I really wonder if Hayter wrote the script and he learned anything from like Hideo Kojima, you know? I wonder if he worked with Kojima for so long, he went like, fuck that squid, dude. That shit's going too far. Like a gigantic flaming blue whale from the beginning of Solid Snake, or no, what is it? Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. So the best casting of comic book characters, yeah, they did really good. They did really good. Yeah. I do think that the Watchmen film is entirely underrated. I think it's very underrated. I think it's very good, and it's a lot of fun, and it's one I've watched multiple times, and yeah, I'm totally cool with that. I'm very happy to see what they're gonna what they're gonna do next with it. With the show, is there anything? I mean, if there's really, we can talk for a few more minutes about it because I don't want to. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't fully seen it yet, because I think a lot of people that are in here haven't seen it yet. I had a couple of friends who were supposed to come on with me, but they didn't watch it yet. So unfortunately, it's just me. Okay, where's that chat? So let's see here. It looks great in 4K. Yeah. Oh, you're talking Watchmen the movie? Yeah, that does. There are some MGS things that type things that added in, probably. Yeah, well, I mean, RT just came out tonight. I was kind of hoping to catch people as they saw it, so it might take a few weeks. I still want to do this on a weekly basis. Do this because I'm trying to figure out a format to do these live post discussions. I just got to find a good co-host, and then because you got the Mandalorian popping up here in the next couple weeks, and there's His Dark Materials, which is going to be coming up here, I believe, in the next week or so on HBO. So they're not only going to have Watchmen, they're going to have Dark Materials adaptation. Man, I'm fucking happy. I'm happy. You wonder how fans will look back on the series. I think fans are going to be okay with it. I do. I think fans are going to be relatively okay with it, and they're going to probably be. I think they're going to be on board. It may take a couple weeks to get going for some people. One guy in here earlier did say that to him it was a slower start. I felt the pacing was absolutely just fine. I really enjoyed the pacing. I liked how they kind of set it up. I thought the action scenes, while not intense, were fun. The fact that they used a heavy machine gun to eviscerate cattle in the first episode was great. Regina King kicks a lot of ass, and I'm very happy to see that because I've been a fan of hers for over 20 years. So it's good to see, I mean, look, let's be fair here. It's cool to see a middle-aged black actress beating the shit out of people and getting into full-on fights and kicking the crap out of people. That's pretty cool. That's not something you see every day. So that's great. Will Night Owl be in this? I don't know, because I mean, that's the thing though, is if you, they have the Archimedes design for the ship. So clearly that tech has been reverse engineered and put out there. So it's possible that Night Owl is running something. And I think that would be great if they've done that. Let's see here. Hold on. Who's come so far since Friday? I don't know what you're talking about. Where do you apply to be a co-host? I haven't, if you watch the show, we'll talk. So there's that. But yeah, there's a lot there that it can build off of, and a lot of, I think a lot of fun to be had. And, people are saying, some of the critics are saying, whether you believe them or not, that's entirely up to you. Some of the critics have been saying that the show is like the next Game of Thrones. It's not there yet based on the first episode. It doesn't end in the same way. It's not kicking a kid out a window after him witnessing people having incest. None of that shit. But it's definitely something that I think people are going to be talking about. Oh yeah, she's come. Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, she's come so far since Friday. Yeah, you're right. Wasn't she? Isn't she the inspiration for Bye Felicia? No, she was Dana. Felicia was her friend. That's right. Yeah, Felicia was her friend. The whole Bye Felicia came from that movie. And yeah, man, I watched Friday a lot when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, I watched that movie so many times. I fucking love Friday. But yeah, Regina King, very happy to see that she's active on this one. Let's see. It's going to really bother you that they called the show just Watchmen. It's going to create confusion. I agree. Again, they should have called it Watchmen, colon Tulsa, or Watchmen in the 7th Cavalry or something like that, or after Watchmen or next Watchmen or new Watchmen or something, right? But they should have done that, and they didn't. I haven't seen the Jay and Silent Bob reboot yet. I could not make it to the theater to go see it the other day. Okay. No, Felicia was actually not played by Paula Jai Parker. She played Joy. I have the IMDb up here. Felicia was played by Angela Means. And Felicia is actually spelled Felisha, not the normal way. So we've all been saying it wrong. So there's that. It's nice to know that there's been a big aspect of our pop culture that's been wrong because people spell things properly. That's fantastic. Let's see. Even more curious if they'll adapt the Doomsday Clock. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if it became an animated movie. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. If it became an animated movie, that would make more sense. I think it'd be great to bring back the cast. So, let's see here. Ice Cube. Ice Cube's least favorite Star Wars planet, by Felucia. I thought that was that could be also I was gonna make a Fallujah joke, but that's not gonna really fly right here. So, all right, guys. Well, I think on that note, I'm gonna wrap this up because this is just a nice kind of start. Talk about it. If you got here late, the review itself will be up. I clipped it out. I just have to go fine tune that. And then, of course, next week I'll be doing this again, and we'll do another episode. It's only 9 episodes, so it's not like a full on 20 episode season, which would just be insane to do. But I appreciate everyone coming by, and hopefully if you guys get the chance to check it out during the week, you stop back by. Hopefully I have convinced you to watch it if you have decided not to see it, and that's okay. And have yourself a great day, everyone. Thank you very much for spending the last hour with me, and I will talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.